The Appalachian State Mountaineers are a model of consistency in the Sun Belt and one of the biggest models of consistency in all of college football. A team that took a step back last year but was still in contention for a conference championship is looking to retain that crown that they once held. And this is a group with the guys that we're going to talk about today that is going to be tough to beat. They're going to be a tough team, a team that is going to run the ball very efficiently, need to find some options in the pass catching areas. The defensive line needs some work too, but this is still a talented team, and Sean Clark has this program headed in the right direction. When you're talking about running the ball for anybody, Appalachian State is a program that you're going to look to, especially after last year. Cameron Peoples was one of the best running backs in college football, nearly rushed for 1,000 yards, and we'll talk about his partner in a second. 14 touchdowns, knew how to get in the end zone, and he is the one. When you look at the game against Miami, he was the difference maker. He was the one that could handle the physical style of play that Miami brought on defense. You saw him run through guys. You saw a stiff arm. You saw a little bit of everything, even some of that breakaway speed. This is a guy who can do a little bit of everything. He's not considered the speed back, but he's more of the north-south runner in between the tackles. But once he gets in open space, he knows what to do with it. He's a guy who's not afraid to initiate contact, but he's mostly looking to get to that opening, however he gets there. Maybe not going to be one of those wiggle backs, but he's definitely going to use his physicality to his advantage. Now, after everybody was focusing on Sean Jolly and what he was going to be able to do, Stephen Jones really stood out. You look at what he did last year: 8 passes defended, 5 interceptions, 3 of those returned for TDs. That's incredible. That is a playmaker in the secondary, and one of the, that secondary was really good last year. To be able to stand out like that in the Sun Belt and in that secondary within your own team says a lot about what you're capable of doing. And Stephen Jones was that guy. He took away half of the field because teams knew if you throw it his way, it's probably not going to go well. You're probably going to get an interception. You're probably not going to get a pass completed. And he's just going to lock whoever he's facing down and maybe even get the ball back to his offense. So that's something that you definitely have to think about if you're going to throw the ball against Appalachian State. And when you look at, we talked about the front line, the defensive line needing to find some new players. You're looking at a secondary and linebackers that are elite and really don't have too many questions. Stephen Jones returns. That gives the secondary someone that can, like I said, take away most of the field, and that's big for a defense that is really looking to improve things up front. Cooper Hodges returns an all Sun Belt selection last year. He is the primary protector of Chase Bryce, and Appalachian State's offensive line was really an underrated group last year. You look at what they were capable of doing in the passing game and in the running game, especially in the running game. They had one back that eclipsed 1,000 yards and one that nearly did the same. Combined, they had over 2,000 yards and 18 touchdowns. And that isn't just because they're really, really good. It's because they have a good offensive line as well. So Cooper Hodges is going to be a big piece to that offensive line, and it's going to be nice to see him back running the show at offensive tackle. We mentioned Nate Noel earlier, or we at least led to him, but kind of hinted at him. He is the lightning to Cameron Peoples' thunder. This is more of your pass catching back, more of your guy who's going to create space, be outside of the tackles, and also he's going to find ways to make guys miss with his quickness, with his speed. He is going to try to run away from people instead of run through them. He's the opposite of Cameron Peoples, which makes them a great complement to each other. When you're expecting one guy to come down and try to run you over, you forget that, hey, Nate Noel is not Cameron Peoples. Now, don't get me wrong, both of them are capable of doing what the other is really good at. It's just that they have their strengths and they typically stick to them. And Nate Noel had over 1,100 yards last year, 4 touchdowns, and he's going to be more of the versatile weapon out of the backfield. And with the offense needing to find new pass catchers, that's going to be huge. Losing DeMarco Jackson might put a lot of programs back a couple years at a position because he was just that good, but that's not the case with Appalachian State. Nick Hampton returns after a 17.5 tackle for a loss, 11 sack season, and he is just one of the linebackers that we're going to talk about today. Like I said, the back end of Appalachian State's defense is phenomenal. This is a talented group who knows what they're doing. They're experienced. They're very explosive, and Nick Hampton is just the start of that. Another linebacker, COBB, 72 tackles last year, 6 tackles for loss, 4 passes defended, 3 interceptions. Did a little bit of everything. Getting involved in stopping the run, getting involved in defending the pass. Does a little bit of everything. Like I said, he and Hampton are 2 great talents. And with Jackson gone, one of them needs to be the playmaker, the do-it-all playmaker. And it feels like COBB is going to be that guy for this defense. And that's huge because, like I said, DeMarco Jackson was really good. And getting someone to replace him isn't going to be easy. We talked about Chase Bryce before, and honestly, I thought he was a big reason for the offense's success. And it's not because I'm saying that the running game was bad, because we knew the runners were going to be good. We knew CAMERUN Peoples, we knew Nate Noel, we knew that those guys were going to be good, we knew the offensive line would be solid, and we knew that there were pass catchers available. It just comes down to, can you get a quarterback to consistently get them the football? And I think a bigger thing was the ability to hit the deep ball. The deep ball was better. Still needs some improvement, but it was better last year with Chase Bryce throwing the ball. And that's something that we're going to look forward to again this year, because this is a talented group. Now, maybe unproven, because of all the talent they lose. They've lost a ton of experience, but they're still talent. They've been recruiting really well. They're bringing guys in, and either whether that's wide receiver or tight end, this is a group that's still going to be explosive, passing the football as well as running the football, and it's because Chase Bryce is back. So in addition to being able to run the ball really well, Chase Bryce and the wide receivers that he has just need to find chemistry, and they'll be right back on track. Safety Ryan Huff probably flies under the radar because of Sean Jolly and because of Stephen Jones. Sean Jolly obviously is gone now. Stephen Jones does return. We talked about him earlier, and it's easy to see why you get forgotten with a guy who had 5 interceptions, 3 of those for touchdowns. But Ryan Huff is a solid leader. Now, he doesn't have the stats to really prove that he belongs in that conversation, but when you watch him play, you know exactly what you're getting. And that's a good guy to have. That's an experienced player that's going to add to a defense that has a ton of experience and is going to get the rest guys around him up to speed. They do need to find a couple players in the secondary, and a guy like Ryan Huff returning pretty much ensures that you're going to get those guys on track and on the same page as everyone else. Last linebacker we're going to talk about, Brendan Harrington. You're looking at a player who had 31 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 3 sacks. Maybe not the production of the Nick Hampton and the Trey Cobbs, but he's still a guy who can take a step forward because, again, DeMarco Jackson leaving is a good and a bad thing. It's a bad thing because obviously you lose a talent like him, but it's a good thing because other guys who are proven commodities can step up and be even better for this defense. And Brendan Harrington is the 3rd linebacker on this list, but he definitely has a chance to be more productive or as productive as those other 2. Finally, we talked about the pass catchers. Henry Pearson is a really intriguing option. Only 11 catches last year, but averaged 13.9 yards per catch on those catches. And like I said, Chase Bryce is going to need someone to step up. Whether that's Henry Pearson or someone else, somebody needs to step up and be that guy. I'm really excited to see what he can do. I'm excited to see this team. You see, they have a good core. There's a good core of players returning. It just comes down to the defensive line needs to find some guys to step up. They need the wide receivers, or just the pass catchers in general, to step up as well. But you're looking at a team that should compete for a Sun Belt championship, and that's something that Appalachian State fans expect. That's something that they are willing to not look past because they know that they want to win. They know what they're capable of, and with the talent that they have returning in this conference, there's no reason why they can't.